y'all see this? This is so pretty. Leah, say hey to the vlog. I'll say hey to the vlog horse. I don't even know if this video is gonna even go up. Underneath here and
Lord, have mercy.
I keep pausing like I do. 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 All those emojis, you can't get up in between. Trying to get up close to me. I can touch you.
sitting here debating if I even want to film this video. I have tried to film this video all day. At this point, I don't even know how many takes this is. I don't even know if y'all can hear me. I don't even know if this video is gonna even go up. I have refilmed this video so many times. My energy is just not here. Video. Hey loves, and yes, I am back. I have been gone for, I think 7 months. This is a video that I've tried to film pretty much all day. A really hard video to film. This will probably be one of my most vulnerable videos on my YouTube channel because it's very personal. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. You guys probably know what this video is really going to be about. I just want to say thank you all so much to my real true supporters, the ones who have been rocking with me on Snapchat and Instagram. My energy is down. I do not want to film this video, but I know I need to film this video because there's a lot of you guys out there that probably don't follow me on Instagram and don't follow me on Snapchat and probably wondering like, did I abandon my channel? Did I disappear? Was I ever coming back? And things like that. I will say that I really truly miss you guys from the bottom of my heart. Never ever been gone this long on my channel. It wasn't for like personal reasons. Like my real OGs, they know, but if you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you guys here. I do have vlogs coming up. I have collective hauls coming up. I have content coming up, so make sure you guys turn your notification bell on and stick around. My name is Miss Queennificent. I live in Texas. I'm originally from Mississippi, girl. So what's up, honey? I'll leave the hardest part that I need to talk about at the end. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I don't know if I got makeup, you guys can tell. Most of you guys that follow me on Instagram and Snapchat, I had surgery. I may put pictures to the side, but I will show a picture of how my eyes looked before. And that's the reason why I had to get surgery. They actually cut me open underneath here and on top. One of my muscle glands popped out. It was really affecting my eyesight because it was heavy on my eyes. So I had prolonged the surgery as long as I could, and I just had to get it done. I did not want to get it done. You guys follow me on social media. You guys know I had to literally be blind for like 4 days. I couldn't see anything for 4 days. It happened because I rubbed my eyes so much. We would rub my eyes so hard, and that's why it happened. Like, who would have thought? Like, if you do need your muscle glands, so they had to cut it open and cut some of it and then pop it back in. I'm not even sure if you guys can tell. Like, I'm not even sure if I can see myself in the viewfinder. If you guys look and see, this eye is more swollen still. This one is so swollen here, right here, if you guys can see. I still go to my appointments. I actually had to go to an appointment yesterday at 2 o'clock. I literally have to get stuck underneath here and up here every time I go, and it's so annoying. It's even when they numb me, it's just like, ugh, you know. But 4 or 5 more months to completely heal. Eye is more swollen here versus this eye. This eye is healed way more quicker than this eye. Hopefully, maybe you guys can see. I can't really see from afar. I don't know if you guys can see if I look this way. This one is a little swollen right now, and it goes up and down. Sometimes this one is more swollen, but this one is always the one that's the most annoying. That's why I have to wear my glasses all the time, which is okay. Like, it's okay. It's a process. I had 3 surgeries. I may pop them over to the side here or here. Last one was a breeze. The first one was not that bad. It was just very uncomfortable because I couldn't see. So my husband, my kids, my family was coming over here checking on me, even though I really couldn't see for days. Like, I couldn't see anything for days. And then, you guys, I put it across the screen simply because, yeah, I originally had caught it from my son. This time I caught it from my daughter at one of the probably worst times in my life. And I also got my braces back, if you guys can see. Traveling, going back and forth with business and working. And you guys saw, like, I've been to Houston a couple of times on business. I've been to New York. I've been to New Jersey. I've been to Colorado. I literally just been working, trying to, you know, stay busy as much as I can. Braces back on because when I was traveling and stuff, I was not taking my retainers, and like 2 of my teeth kind of shifted back. So I don't have to have these in before a few months, and then I'm done. So to everybody out there who got braces and you're not wearing your retainers, wear your retainers, girl, before you be back. Which I want to say in this video, because my family watches me and I want to respect our family's privacy when it comes to personal things in our family. You guys are my family as well, and I wanted to share this with you guys because I don't know if everyone follows me online, and this is a life update video, so I wanted to share this with you guys. My father passed. Keep it together, girl. I don't think I can do this video. I don't even know what to say. Just give me a lot of you guys used to always ask me why I was in Mississippi so much. But you guys, I was always in Mississippi because of my dad. My daddy was on oxygen for a very long time. Anytime my daddy felt sick or ill, I would always go back home to be there with him because I didn't want to travel or do anything. I didn't want to go out of the country. I didn't want to go out to another state. Just in case something happened and my daddy needed me, I wanted to always be able to get there. So that's why I was always going to Mississippi. Anytime he was in the hospital, we would always go home. All my family, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, my children, my husband, everyone would always go home to be there with him. I'll probably add pictures to the side so you can see how beautiful and handsome my daddy is. That's my twin, y'all. that's my twin. I'm 37 years old, and my dad would still call me baby, my baby, my baby, my baby, my baby, my baby, my baby. Even though I got children of my own. Give me a minute. I think I was about 25 when my daddy was first put on oxygen. And I remember he would come here and visit us in Texas, me and my sisters. And I remember the first time seeing my dad sick. And I'm not sure if you guys know, but my daddy did 40 years in the military. He retired at 40 years. And in all of my years, even when I was all the way to 25, I never seen my daddy sick ever a day in my life. And I remember when he came here and I first saw him on oxygen, I remember being inside my sister's place, and I remember walking outside, and I remember bursting out in tears because I didn't want my dad to see me sad for him. And he must have knew because I remember he came outside, and at that time he was holding one of those big green oxygen tanks, and he hated it. carrying around. I know he did, because he was such a strong, independent man. This is a man who fought in so many wars. So, you know, to go from that to having to carry around this big oxygen tank, just, you know, it didn't really sit well with him, you could tell. And then I remember my dad came here for my sister's 10-year wedding anniversary, and we were at my place, and I remember going into the room where my dad was. I was actually throwing my sister like a little bachelorette, little party shindig, and I remember my dad at that time, you know, I had been to medical school, so I had all my medical stuff in my house. So, you know, my dad was in the room sick, and, you know, we from Mississippi, so, you know, my dad had like coon and deer and, you know, rabbit and squirrel, and so they was cooking all that in the kitchen. I remember going in the room asking my dad, he was in my room, laying down, and it was weird because I know my dad. You know, when you know your parents, you know when something's wrong. You don't have to say anything because you just know. I remember going into the room, and I remember saying, Dad, you know, I think they got the deer ready, or the squirrel or something like that is done. You want me to get you some rabbit? And he was like, no, I don't want none. So you don't want no coon? And he said, no, I'm all right. And I immediately knew then, oh no, something wrong. This was when I was 25. He said he didn't want any. And I said, let me go tell my mama something ain't right. And so something just said, go in there and just see, let me just scope my daddy out. Usually if your above your eye or your fingers get a little dark or purple or black, that means your blood is not flowing, you're not getting enough oxygen. That his fingers, like here, they was getting a little purple, and I could tell a little above his eyelid that his eyelid was getting a little dark. So I knew he wasn't getting enough oxygen. So I got my little medical bag, and I told my mom, I said, let me check his oxygen. And I checked his oxygen, and you know, normally for my dad, 91 to 99 was good. I checked it, it was like a 50. Everybody's downstairs, everybody's getting ready. No one knows what's going on but me, my mom. I remember going to my mom and say, Mom, I said, his oxygen is 50. She said, when you go to the hospital. So I went into my dad, I said, Dad, when you go to the hospital, you know, military men, they stood me. They like, he like, no, I'm fine. I said, did you eat something today, Daddy? He said, no, I ain't eating nothing today. I said, okay, well, let me go down here and get you some soup. You want some soup, Daddy? And he said, yeah. So I pulled a chair up, I fed him the soup, and I remember giving him a glass of juice. And I remember when I gave him the juice, as his hand went like this, he couldn't grab the juice, and it fell all in my bed. And I said, oh, I got it up, and I went, something said, check his oxygen up again. And it was like at 40, 30, something like that. And I remember going to tell my mom, I said, Mom, we need to get him to the emergency room. His oxygen is dropping tremendously. We have to get him now. And I went there and said, well, Dad, you gotta go to the emergency room. He kept saying, no, he ain't gonna go. I said, Mom, you gotta go in there and tell him he needs to go. My mom went in the room and she said, you need to go. She come back outside and she said, go in there and talk to your dad. He'll listen to you. So I went in the room and I said, Daddy, you got to go. And I began to cry and I said, Daddy, you gotta go. My husband, my sister's husband, and my other sister's husband, they immediately get him dressed. We drive all to the emergency room. This is the day before my sister's wedding. There, and we're waiting, and I remember the people saying, like, this when I'm 25 years old. Like, I'm 37, so this is 12 years ago. I remember the people saying, you know, he's okay, he's fine. So we go in the back, we see my dad, he's good. He's talking, he's like, oh, I'm about to get out of here. I gotta walk my daughter down the aisle tomorrow. This is why I came to Texas for. And I gotta walk my daughter down the aisle, my oldest sister. We're dressed for the wedding. We go to the hospital, walk in, and my daddy's in a medicated coma. Talking to the doctor, and I say, well, can I see his charts? So if you worked in the medical field and you look at lungs, you know, your lungs supposed to be really clear. If you ever looked at lungs. My daddy's was really, really black and dark. He had only like 10% down here at the bottom, clear. And so the doctors say, we put him in a medicated coma because we want to help rebuild his lungs. He has a lot of infections and all that stuff. But he had already been to the VA hospital, like in Mississippi. How they didn't, that's a whole other story. The oxygen tank and machine, it wasn't pulling out enough oxygen. It wasn't big enough. It just was trash. So my daddy was here for about a month and a half. Dallas, Medical City, that's who saved my dad's life when I was 25 years old. Doctors telling us if we had waited 10 more minutes, my daddy would have died at home in my bed. Lungs was so good when he left. It was good, he left. And then throughout the years, he went from that big green tank of oxygen to like the little pouch. Then at some point, he didn't even have to have the oxygen. We were visiting home, the car or something, and he was like, "You look like the police in this car." And he was off his oxygen then. If I find the picture, I'll put it to the side somewhere. And he had his hand up in the air, and I remember him just so happy to just be off that oxygen. Yeah, he was so happy to be off that oxygen. Fast forward, we were planning a family cabin trip. My dad has always been about family. He's a family man. Like, I come from a loved family. My mom and dad been together for over 50 years. I come from a family of love. Yes, I do. As a little girl, my dad used to come home from work and he would go get food from this man, Peanut Red, and it's like this shack house with the best barbecue ever. He would come home and he would wake me up and he would say, "Come on, eat with your daddy, babe," and I would eat with him. Even as I got older, as a teenager, he would always come say, "Eat with your daddy, baby." I always thought because I was youngest, he always felt like he didn't have enough time with me, so he would always come wake me up. And I love myself some daddy. I am a daddy's girl. I'm a mama's girl, but I'm more of a daddy's girl. I was a daddy's girl. Yes, I was. That was my twin. My dad and my mom come here a couple of days before the cabin trip. We was having our family cabin trip. So excited to have all my family around, my best friend from Mississippi, and everyone. I remember we were so excited just to have everybody together as a family. He always talk about family togetherness, family togetherness. And here he was fine, my dad was fine. So the day of the trip, everybody meet up, my best friend and her husband, and people met us there. And then we all got to the cabin. You guys remember some of the cabin? I was showing some of it on Snapchat and Instagram. I may insert some of the footage simply because I just want you guys to understand that your life can change in a second. You could literally be having the best time of your life. It can change in the split of a second. Everybody was so excited. The cabin was so beautiful. As a matter of fact, I'll run some clips now. Y'all see this? Real worm suckers. It is worms in these suckers. Real worms. Look at that. Y'all see this? Real, like, what is this, ants? Real worm suckers. This is good. This is so pretty. Oh my God. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. So we have made it to the cabin, you guys. Cabin that we're at. I don't want to bring the camera down because everybody's cars is right here. This cabin is absolutely gorgeous. This is where we're staying, Sweetwater Cabins. I'll say hey to the vlog whores. So this is the living room area. But yes, fine. Or Kalia bought her record player. Or am I using this? You playing it outside? You playing it outside, or you playing it in the house? That's going outside. I'm not going outside. No, we was gonna play it in. What you finna do? I'm gonna show y'all how my room look. Kalia, say hey to the vlog. Y'all say hey. Sakina. Kalia. Hey, boo. My life with, and of course, y'all already know, She brought what? The record player. Okay. What up, Lau? What up, Lau? Lau, what up? Diamond, what? My best friend, Sakina. Say hi. Tell. Bitch, this ain't a motherfucker. Oh, mama. Okay, guys, so I want to show y'all me and my husband's room. Oh, hi, gorgeous. Hi.
Hey, pretty girl.
Oh, hi, pretty. Hi. Oh, my niece is so pretty. So this is me and my husband's room. And our little couch. Two people can lay here. You can lay out or whatever. But it's just giving. Isn't it pretty? Y'all wait till y'all see how this motherfucking bathroom look. It's gorgeous. 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 Let me show y'all this bathroom, baby. Look at our bathroom. Look at that tub. It's giving. Show y'all how big this is. Y'all see how big this is? I can sit here. Ooh, and my husband do things here. Y'all see this? This thing is gorgeous. Cheers! Woo! Cheers! It's a vibe. They in the jacuzzi. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. So this is the outside of Khalil's room. Her and her best friend. Oh, hi. Say hi. Kalia, hi. Hi. Let me see the braids. Let me see the braids. Let me see the heart. Oh, yeah. The heart is giving. Her braids are super duper long. This is their room. It's huge. Aubrey got on her bonnets. That's Clint's best friend. Y'all already know Aubrey.
Y'all see me. Y'all see me.
Yeah. What you say? You say what, Aubrey?
Y'all see me.
Yeah, this ain't wrong.
Ready. Watching Stranger Things. Good night.
Look at her. You done in the jacuzzi? Look once. What?
Me and the show food.
He said what? He said he got a jacuzzi because he was the last one in there. That's how people be getting kidnapped. You sure know what to do.
Beat it up. 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 Oh, oh, beat it up. Oh, oh, beat it up. Oh, 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 beat it up. Oh, beat it up. Beat it up. Scotty.
Love this room. It is so pretty. Has so many games. Jurassic Park, Super Mario, pool table, TV over here. There's a TV right there by the bar. So cute. It's my sister's room. Her husband, and her kids. It's a patio outside. As you guys can see, it's a pull-out bed. So it's one at the bottom, one at the top. TV, bathrooms over there. Look like all the rest of the bathrooms with the tub. 3 bunk beds for her children. Then when you open this door, you got the little sitting area right here. And then, who out there, Maya? All of them. My nieces and nephews, I don't know if y'all can see them, but they playing, you can see a few of them, they playing on the little playground. So that is some of the seating area outside, the fan. I think I showed y'all this already, but yeah. So this way, you have this room. This actually my best friend room. So cute. You can see like outside. TV, little seating area. This is their bathroom. So cute. This is the best one we've been to, y'all. The best one we have been to. All the views on the patio from upstairs is beautiful. Jacuzzis are down there. The playground, all that stuff is back there. The campfire is back there. Everything is just gorgeous here. You relaxing? You are? Yeah. You having fun? Yeah. Say cheese. Look, say cheese. You know it's a video?
Yeah. Because their light is on.
I can't trick you?
No.
Say cheese, Mom.
Cheese.
This a video. Can see the cabin was beautiful. We was turning up. We was having such a good time. It was so beautiful. It had like 2 or 3 jacuzzis. It had a playground in the back for the kids. It had, all the kids had like their own patio. Kalia and her best friend went. My niece and her best friend went. Like, it was such a beautiful thing. One morning, sister called me and said that he can't breathe. Immediately get up, I run over there. There's my mom, people in the room. You know, he's gasping for air. And I looked at his feet. His feet was a little swollen. And he was kind of like, you know, his mouth was a little turned. And I immediately said, call the ambulance. On the ambulance, they kept saying, try to keep him woke, try to keep him woke, try to keep him woke. So we kept trying to get him woke. I remember getting a cold towel, putting it on his chest because he hate cold, so I knew that would wake him up a little bit. I was putting it on his feet because he do not like to be cold. More of a heating pad type of person. He likes the warm. He don't like to be cold. Every time he came to my house, he used to say, ooh, this house feel like an ice box because you come over here, you're going to freeze, okay? I don't like to be hot. The ambulance came. They ended up giving him a shot, and he was good. Just like that. Ambulance people took him. We were probably about 3.5 hours away. At that time, we was in Oklahoma. We were in, I think it was like 4-something hours away from here. Maybe 4 or 5. I can't remember the exact amount of time, but it was further from where he was at the time. And when we got there, they were saying to get him to the hospital in Texarkana, Texas. The military pick him up on a helicopter and take him there. Now this time, it's like a day before we leave from the cabin to check out. This was the day before we had to check out. He was there, chilling, followed them there. We let him know that by the time you get there, we're gonna be there. So the military took him there. He was fine. He was fine, he was fine, he was fine. Went back to the cabin. My mom stayed with him. Back at the cabin, we had fish and barbecue, and I remember making sure we got all his favorite snacks and food, and he ate all his food. His catfish, he loved catfish and fries and salad, and I mean, we had like a Mexican feast. He had all that. He was doing so well. You would have never seen it coming. Checking out the Airbnb, we drove back to the hospital, and we was there telling us that in another hospital, and now they were saying his kidney and his liver was failing. What? He just left the VA before he come here. He literally just had an appointment. They said nothing about he had a failing liver or kidney. Like, what? This is new to everybody that's there. Couldn't believe it. Everything was happening so fast. Well, now we have a failing kidney and a failing liver that we have to get him to Baylor Scott and White in Dallas, Texas. The military had to come pick him up and fly him to Dallas, Texas. They're waiting, they are calling Baylor Scott and White, and they're basically saying like they don't have any more beds over capacity, something like that. They had too many people there. They had said that they were gonna go ahead and put him on the list. He was definitely admitted. Once a room become available for him, then they were going to let the military know to pick him up and fly him from Texarkana, Texas to Dallas, Texas to Baylor Scott and White. I remember them saying that his lungs was not good enough. He wasn't producing enough oxygen. We need to sedate him in order for him to make it to Baylor Scott and White. I remember my dad not wanting to go under. He didn't want to go under again. A conversation with my dad, and I remember saying, you know, Dad, if you don't go under, you're not gonna make it to the hospital in Dallas. Saying, Dad, when you get there, just know we're gonna already be there waiting for you. My best friend and her husband and everyone went in the room and was talking to my dad because we knew he was about to be put under. You know, I remember the last thing I said to my daddy was, you know, I love you so much, Daddy. I'm gonna see you in Dallas. Come back to see me now. That's what he said. I said, Daddy, you ain't gotta tell me to come back and see you. You know I'm gonna come back and see you. I always remember when my daddy was sedated and they weaned him up back when I was 25. And I remember everybody would stop me when I was in Mississippi. I would visit and he'll be saying, you the baby girl that used to feed the daddy so fast. And I was like, huh? And my dad used to tell people all the time, like, because my daddy was a clean man. So when he was sedated, I would shave his face, clean back of his ears, wipe his feet, wipe his neck, wipe his hair, brush his hair, massage his feet. Before the cabin trip, I used to always do my daddy pedicures. He loved it. I'd actually fall asleep when I was doing them. The time when I went home, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go see friends. I always was just very focused on my dad. That was my priority. That was what was important to me. Him thanking me so much. I may share some of them to the side. I don't know if I want to or not. I remember him thanking me every time I went home. I would say, you don't have to thank me for anything. You gave me a great life. You taught me so much. I remember any blessing I ever had, I used to always call my mom and say, y'all need anything? They would always say, no. And I would always cash out my best friend that lived on the same street that they live on now. And I would tell them I would tell her to go take this money down there to my mom and them. They can't give it back to you, so they definitely can't give it back to me. And I would do it all the time because they would always say, no, they didn't need anything. But what was mine was theirs. They knew that I would sold them that. I always wanted to give my parents the world because that's what they did for me. My dad was such a great man. Yeah. We was driving back and forth every day, 3 hours back and forth every day. Drive back to Texas, then we would go back every day. I remember receiving a phone call on FaceTime. It was my mom and my sisters, because we have a group chat, and the doctor was on the phone. But before I get to that, I remember I would go into the room and sit by my dad. And I remember telling my mom, you can go in there and wait, I'll sit with Dad for hours. And I would sit by him even though he was sedated. And I remember the lady would come into the room and she would be asking my dad stuff like, and I say, he can hear you? He can move and stuff, and she'd say, as I sedate him a little lighter, which means she was winking him off the sedation so he could hear. And I said, oh, can I talk to him? She said, absolutely. The staff so great to my dad and my mom, my family, and my children. One day, me and my sister, and I remember people was coming in, and I had just sent my mom out and my sisters, and just me and my sister in there. And I remember calling my mom saying, "Oh, I think something's wrong. There's too many people coming in here." And I would ask them, you know, is everything okay? They would say, it's okay, everything's okay. Is he okay? He's okay, okay. So I remember going to get a chair. Since she told me he could hear, I would just sit beside him and hold his hand and just rub his hand and say, you know, hey, Dad, it's me. I'm here. I want you to know you're not alone. Everybody's here. I want you to know we're all here. I always wanted to let him know, like, even when he was sedated, I always wanted to let him know that he was never alone and that we were always there with him every step of the way. I would say, Dad, if you could hear me, squeeze my hand. Went from like a squeeze like this, yeah, very strong. And, you know, I love you, Dad. I love you so much. I said, if you can hear me, squeeze my hand. And, you know, it went from this to like this. And then I just felt like, oh, well, maybe that's because she sedated him a little bit more. We left. Everything was good. Everybody just kept saying we're waiting on Vader Scott and Whites. And he's out of here. He's gone. They've accepted him. As soon as I made it home, I remember going to go pick up Bella from the dog sitter. And I had just made it in the house. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And that's when my mom called. And the doctor was on the phone. She said, like, my dad hadn't died when the lady called. But we knew we needed to get back. So we drove back again. Yes, we did. My entire family went again. I remember my mom texting me like 30 minutes before we made it, and she was saying it's not looking good. My heart was beginning to break. My mom had never said that ever. So I was getting nervous, very scared. Like I couldn't even breathe from that text my mom sent me. And I was praying so hard. The whole time, the whole process, I was praying for my dad the whole time. My dad had got a little smaller throughout the months. I remember walking into the hospital. I noticed he was on a breathing machine. I remember asking the lady, I said, what is this? Even though I knew what it was, I've been in the medical field for a long time. She said, we had to put him on a breathing machine. And I said, why? And she said that he had got a blood clot in his leg and that it went to his lungs and then to his brain. I'm sorry, you guys. So sorry. And I remember just feeling like, I know my makeup looks a mess, but I'm feeling so empty inside, so lost, heartbroken, pain. I kept feeling like I couldn't breathe. Just hear what I think I heard, like, this has to be a dream. This can't be real. Just left here, he was fine. There's no way, what? And the lady looking at me saying, we tried to do everything we could. And I remember my mom just sitting there and she just looked like lifeless almost. She knew my dad ever since she was 13 and 14, and they both was 60 something, like 65, 64. So she knew my dad her whole life. I remember asking the lady, I said, so what happens now? And she said, you know, you guys can keep him on here for as long as you want, but just know that this machine is breathing for him. Nobody knows my dad. You just know that's not how he would want to be for the rest of his life. And I immediately told my mom and my sisters, because even my mom said she can't do it. She will want you guys, which was me and my sisters, which my daddy called us his Charlie's Angel, to choose. And I said, free him from this. Free my dad from this. That's not my dad, that's a machine breathing for him. Usually when you take someone off the breathing machine, you're not in the room with them. They do it on their own. As long as you give them the go then that's what they're gonna do. The lady told us, she said, you know, in all my years of working at this hospital, I've been working here almost 40 some years, I've never seen someone with this much family here. This man was loved. Yes, he was. The lady said to us, you guys can stay in here if you want. And I said, what? You guys can get chairs and stay in here, because once we unplug him, he's going to breathe on his own for a couple of minutes and then he's just gonna go. Everything was happening so fast. Even when I play it back in my mind, because I think about it all the time. Everybody in the room except my son, he said he couldn't do it. The lady telling everyone to let them know when we were ready. Like a couple of hours had passed, and she started to unplug him. Losing my mind, sitting there, I couldn't just sit there. Oh, it was so bad for me, my family. The pain of losing a parent will never go away. I don't care what anybody says. Still feels like I'm present right now in that room. Just sitting there remembering the last thing that my daddy said to me was, come back and see me now. I love you. When she got done unplugging him, could see him breathing on his own. And it just stopped. I'm so sorry, you guys. So sorry. So sorry. I'm sure I look ugly and I just don't even care. I'm so sorry. I know my makeup is so ugly, but I don't care, it's okay. I remember wanting to hug my dad, talking to my dad, that I'm so sorry. I tried to do everything I could. And that's why I always was in Mississippi. So for people who was always asking me in my business, why was I always only going to Mississippi and not traveling? What am I traveling for? Dad is on oxygen. It made no sense to me. I need to be near if something happens. I'm so thankful that I was always there. I was with him up until he took his last breath. My son being out there, he had a piece of paper and he never showed me what that paper was. It really didn't dawn on me like to ask my son, like, what is that paper you're holding? It wasn't until we made it back to Texas. Son comes in the room and he gives me this piece of paper. And I can't see what it is, but it was on like a piece of typing paper. And I couldn't tell what it was, so I opened it. I saw like a heartbeat and then like his last breath underneath. And I immediately knew what it was. And I asked my son, I said, what is this? He said, and I saw my dad's name up there, his birthday, which his birthday is November 5th. Happy birthday to my dad. And I remember his last birthday, we had him a little birthday thing. I don't even know if I want to put it to the side or not. And we went home to Mississippi, had him like a little birthday little thing, give him his gifts, and then we took him out to eat to this place, and he loves steak and salad. So that's what I got for him. I got him a steak and salad. And a baked potato, that's his go-to meal, or fish. And I remember every birthday, everything. My son said the nurse at the hospital came and gave him that piece of paper because she wanted him to have it, because even though he couldn't be in the room when my daddy took his last breath, she wanted to give that to my son to have. And that just did something to my soul. The hospital was so nice. They were. Sent one to my mom, and she didn't even know what it was until I sent it to her. And I told her, I said, when you open it, I sent it to her, I think, so she can get it on Veterans Day, I believe. And on Veterans Day, would always text or call my dad and say, Happy Veterans Day. Like I said, my dad did 40 years in the military before he retired. So yeah, shout out to my dad. My daddy did 40 years. That's more than half of his life. So yeah, shout out to my dad. I miss him dearly. He had a beautiful military funeral. My mom did such an amazing job, and I remember buying these big pictures, and I wanted to put in the church because I wanted people to remember him in his younger years, in his military outfit, and then in his younger years when he was so like handsome. My dad was a handsome man, y'all. I'll put them to the side so y'all can see they were huge. I ordered them from this lady out of Memphis, and she brought them to me the day before, 2 days before the funeral. A beautiful funeral. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my mom. It's a strong lady. My dad had a man cave at their house. And I just recently went to Mississippi with my mom, and I'll be back down there with my mom. I couldn't go in the man cave for a while. Every time you walk in there, you just see him everywhere. It's his room, his man cave. That's his man cave. Last time I went home, I went in there and I closed the door and I sat in the room and I was just talking to him. Gave me such a sense of peace, and like his presence was near me, around me, and I was just talking to him. I just wanted to scream, but I know my mom was there and other family were there, and I just wanted to be alone for a while. I didn't want to come in the room where I was. Walk in the room, it smells just like him, just like my dad in that room. You know, I wasn't gonna do this video, but I needed to do an update video, like where I've been, where I was. And you know, when my dad passed, I went into a depression phase. I was so unhappy. I talked to my dad every day, text my dad every day. So to go from talking to someone every day to not be able to talk to him, I wanted to pick up the phone and text him and talk. So many times I pick up the phone and call him and text him, and in reality, since then, he's not coming back, baby. Life is so short. If you have not talked to your parents or seen your parents, you gotta make it right. Come from a family of love, and I can only imagine like the people who don't talk to their parents or talk to their kids. I can't even understand how they do it. I could never do that. You should always want to be there for your family, no matter what. What brings me peace and comfort in this hard time is knowing I was always there, but it's so hard, y'all. Because I think about them every day, every day. I could be driving and think about them, eating, thinking about them, in the tub, thinking about them, cleaning, thinking about them, walking, thinking about them. I could be talking on the phone, having a conversation with someone, thinking about my dad. And some days I just don't want to get up out of the bed. I feel like my heart is broken into. To have to live your life without a parent, it's like starting a whole new life. You have to start your new life without them. Before I end this video, I just want to say I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for all the messages, all the DMs on Snapchat, Instagram. Meant so much to me, y'all. Y'all are my family. Like, I love y'all so much. And like I said, thank y'all so much for still being here, rocking with me after all this time I've been gone. But I'm not leaving y'all again, you know. That stuff I had to deal with and take care of. And losing a parent is not easy. I'm so grateful to have certain family members who call and check up on me, how I'm doing, because mental health is real. When someone is calling you to check up on your mental health, they love you. To all my family that watch me, who call and check on me, I love y'all. I do. And I feel like this video has been so long, and I feel like I just want to close this video out. But I do want to say this. Love on your family, y'all. Life could change just like that. Someone could be here today and gone as quickly as you can blink your eye. And it's hard. It is hard. Like, I even go to a grievance counselor because it's hard. And I go back and look at our messages. He used to always call me Dr. Love. That's what my daddy called me, y'all. Dr. Love. Miss him dearly. Thank y'all once again for the people who have stuck around once again. I love y'all so much.
Like it, cause like it do. All those emojis, you can get up